Hello and welcome back to the Not Your Neurotypical Fitness podcast. And once again, I'm joined by an incredible guest. And I do actually believe you might be my first ever international guest, which is very exciting.
Oh, wow. Well, how do you do?
Well, no, from that, you don't need to get, I don't need the introduction of where he's from. He is from across the pond. Whereabouts actually are you based in the States? Like which state, whereabouts are you based?
Yeah, the easiest way, it's basically Los Angeles, California.
Amazing, amazing. So we got
That's
California.
probably the easiest.
Super exciting.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I've got Russ on the podcast, and I'm not gonna do Russ a disservice and try and explain all the amazing things that he does. So, Russ, I'm gonna make you do that really awkward, fun thing, which is
Oh,
just,
wow.
yeah, I'm gonna make you do it and just explain a
I'll do
little.
the disservice to myself. I will
No,
disservice myself.
absolutely not. Just a little bit about who you are and what it is you do, because the work you do is amazing.
Oh, thank you. My name is Russ. I host the ADHD Big Brother podcast,
Mhm.
and I have been working with adults with ADHD for, God, I'm going to say like 6 years now. No, it's right around when the pandemic hit is when I really started working with people. So maybe that's what, 5 years. I'm shitty with numbers, but yeah, I help and with this very specifically productivity based, right? So helping adults with ADHD get unstuck, get consistent and confident in their ability to be consistent, and then with the tools to then coach themselves moving forward. That is where my heart is, and we do that through a membership to our community. I do it one on one, but I also do run a community that's
Amazing.
based on productivity.
Amazing. And obviously being consistent is one of like the main things I talk about within like the scope of fitness, which is why I wanted to bring you on to really dive into that,
Oh
which is
gosh.
super exciting and I know it'll be
Yeah.
so helpful for people. So you obviously you've said you've been working with people with ADHD now in that proximity for like about 5 years. So what's the
Mhm.
story with that? What got you into working with people with ADHD? Was it your own diagnosis? When did that come about? I'd love to hear a little bit about your personal story and what got you into what you do
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I had ADHD until I was 40.
Mm.
I was going through a divorce, or we were going through couples counseling, and the therapist suggested, "Oh, do you think you might have ADHD?" And I got all butt hurt by that. So rejection sensitive dysphoria, and then I went home to Google it to prove him wrong, and it turns out, oh boy, it looks like I have it. So then I went and I went and tried to get someone in an official capacity, be like, is this what I have? Is this what it is? And they're like, yeah, here's some medicine for it. And then I went through the medicinal journey that ended up, I love the medicine. It works. It works so good, but I have side effects to all of it.
Mm.
Or at least that has been my journey. So I'm unmedicated. So I had to figure this out on basically how do I manage my life on my own?
Uh,
Kind of, and I modeled. So I started I worked with coaches, and some of them, the thing that was missing with my experience with other coaches was the accountability.
mm.
And it was the idea that, like, it doesn't matter. You could go into a session with somebody in therapy and in coaching and anything, and you have these wonderful epiphanies, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the new me. I get it now. And then you leave and you forget everything. It's like it's appointment amnesia, right? And so I'm like, well, how is this going to work? So I ultimately, I'm saying a whole bunch of rambly things right now, but during COVID, I sank. I got really, really depressed. I'm comorbid with depression. I have a dual diagnosis type deal. But the if I'm suffering like this, it was awful, and I wanted to help other people. I'm like, we got to get on the other end of this together,
Mm.
and I started the idea, the seed of a community and a membership type situation was planted,
Amazing.
um, because I find that other people is the answer a
Absolutely.
lot of the times. Like you can know how to do a thing. I mean, you probably noticed this in fitness, right? Where it's like if somebody shows up and there's a trainer, you're more likely to work out. You're more likely to push yourself, or you're more likely to do a thing. I find that I modeled our community after a quit group, a nicotine quit group,
Mm,
because I'm like, it is so hard to overcome an addiction to nicotine. Oh my gosh. But when you are quitting with a group of people at the same time, and you're all miserable together, and you all hate your lives together, and you're all complaining about everybody together, it helps because you're all in service of this one thing. No
absolutely.
matter what, I'm not going to chew. So
Absolutely.
why not do that with productivity, right? Like we have ADHDers in our community that have done the thing that they said they were going to do for well over 100 days in a row,
Amazing.
weekends included.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So when you said that you went to get coaching, just out of curiosity, were you getting coaching that was specific to ADHD, or was it just I
Yeah.
need some support? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was I mean I'm a therapy I love therapy. So throughout my life I've always not always, but I've done CBT, EMDR.
Hmm.
I'm a huge fan of therapy. But knowing once I got the ADHD diagnosis, I'm like, okay, there's a name for this thing. It's not just I'm lazy and I'm stupid and I'm all that. Um, Let me get on the other end of this. And so I went for ADHD specific coaching. But
Amazing.
my thinking is if it doesn't have accountability attached to it, the how do I do the thing that I just learned, then
Absolutely.
it's really it didn't work for me. I'll just say that. It didn't work for me.
For sure, for sure. And that's where that idea of I could do something different with this came. What was the idea behind them the name, like the Big Brother and like the idea? Because you said you modeled it off like the nicotine group, but like because what I get when I look at like the work you do, it's almost like this family vibe. And was that always like the
Yeah.
idea of it is it feels fun, it feels like a family rather than being something really serious? Because obviously when you do therapy, usually it's quite a serious sort of environment, isn't it? It can be.
Oh yeah. That's so I'm glad you asked that. The name ADHD Big Brother came out of me looking for my identity in this space. And I do not, I mean, I am a coach. I do coaching, but coaching always resonates to me as a status thing. I'm up here and I know more than you, and you're down here and I'm going to tell you what to do. And that's not what I do. I'm and like when you go and take like I've been through coach training programs and I'm just like clawing my face out because don't share your life story. Don't be this. Don't. I'm like, fuck that. I'm the way that I work is more in line with a big brother, which is somebody that's walked the path, maybe a little bit ahead of you, and I have insights. But more than that, I have hope for you. I have a belief in you. My gift is that I can kindle your fire like the thing that lights you up, I will throw gasoline on that and you will believe in yourself. And that's what a good, I'm not talking about a dysfunctional, awful big brother. I'm talking about the ideal,
Yeah.
the ideal big brother.
Yes.
And so that's where that name came. Um,
I love it.
it's just how I see myself. It's
I
a bit
love it.
different.
I love it. And I do think there is so much to be said for that with, you know, the way I like to coach with my clients is of course we know more and we are the leader, but also we're not on this absolute pedestal. Like we are all in this together. And I
Yeah.
personally think from my experience, and I gather you're the same, that when you almost come down that notch, you actually feel more connected, and that's where the magic can happen because people trust you and can open up so much more rather than you're this big scary person with a wig.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
like that's not what coaching should be.
Well, and then to your point here, because I think this is where fitness coach would be different than my view of myself as an ADHD coach. Because if I'm hiring you for a fitness coach, I do want you to tell me exactly what to do, right?
Mm,
I want you to, but when you're helping somebody with ADHD manage their life
mm,
or become productive, we're so unique and different. And I find that my job is to extrapolate from you. Extrapolate, I don't know if that's the right word. I need to pull from you
yeah.
what works for you, what lights you up, what gets you juiced up. And then I hold you accountable to you. and your commitment to you. It's I have ideas, I have strategies, I have things that can work, but those are just tools.
Yes,
My tools, I could have 5 tools on how to do a brain dump, but you're cobbling together of what is inspiring about each of those 5 different things is what makes your brain dump thing so beautiful.
absolutely.
That's what I juices me up.
Absolutely. And to be fair, like that is what makes fitness work also with ADHD people. Is like you've got these principles and these philosophies and these rules and but it's like you said, it's how does it fit for your mold and how does it fit for you? But if we come back to your zone of
Yeah.
genius, as I like to say, the productivity, this is what I find really interesting. Because when and a lot of people do have created these spaces and groups and communities for, you know, ADHD
Hmm.
individuals because maybe they felt alone or they feel like there's something there. And obviously for me, my journey is I'm a fitness coach, I do fitness, thus that's why I wanted to create it in this space. But productivity is
Hmm.
it's quite a unique thing, isn't it? And I know you do more than that in your space, but what was it about the productivity that was like that's where I want to put my focus, no pun intended, that's where I want to put my attention because it's such a special thing, isn't it? So I'm really curious on that.
Yeah, it's because I think that is what changes it's a trickle thing. Like everything is not resolved. I don't want to say that. It's too grand. But like you imagine how messed up our lives are. Like undiagnosed ADHD or late in life diagnosed ADHD or even the youngsters, it's your life's in chaos. Your spouse thinks that they're your parent. You're letting your friends down because you're late for everything. You have late bills. You have all these components of life that are just crappy. And productivity in and of itself, it's one little component, but it's the art of doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. It changes everything. You then become confident in yourself because I'm true to my word. You become consistent. The people in your life start to be like, oh, I can rely on you. You show up on time for your friends. You don't have late fees. So you feel proud of yourself. So much of your life gets better just by virtue of being productive and learning those skills.
Amazing,
So
amazing.
that's why I'm into it. I'm like that's the core. Like I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not like a lot of it even in the community. I think that emotional support is intrinsic with ADHDers. You get a room full of ADHDers together, we automatically love each other, we
Yeah.
automatically care, we automatically get each other. I'm like I don't fucking care about creating a community that's literally just for us, sharing memes about how, well, I lost my keys again. Isn't that a funny thing? I literally, I don't have time for that. I'm like, what are we doing today?
Yes.
Even though life sucks and it's hard and it's a slog and it's boring and all this work is stupid, what are we all doing today? And like, how can we support that?
I love it.
So the emotion stuff, it'll come. It's the byproduct of, but it's the meat of all of this is I'm like, it's the doing. It's the doing of the thing.
It is. And I love what you said there about the like, I don't have the time to just like, yes, we can make these jokes and have fun. But and I say this a lot to a lot of my clients when they share these like memes and stuff. I'm like, this is all good fun. But what you don't realize what you're doing here is you're kind of subconsciously keeping yourself trapped because it's all about the limitations, isn't it? Like, well, we can't do this, we're making this mistake, and
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we don't do it. But I love what you say of like, but
Yeah.
what are we gonna do about it? And this is one of my main mantras. I stole it off my nana, bless her, she's not with us anymore, but this quote sits with me. It's not the problem, it's what do we do about it? And that sounds exactly like
Yeah. Now
what the
what?
culture is. It's not the ADHD, it's what do
Totally.
we do about the ADHD to get where we want to be, which I love.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you've worked with,
Totally.
so many people, and like you beautifully said not so long ago, yes, we all have ADHD, but it all manifests in different ways. Some people have high functioning, and some people have stronger this struggle, stronger that struggle, and it's all about, their interactions and engagements in life. But if you were to maybe sum up like maybe two or three of some of the most common challenges, struggles, or hardships that ADHD has faced when it comes to this idea of productivity, what would you say they are?
Yeah. I mean, this is going to sound so boring and stupid, because everyone's like, I already know that. It's get a calendar. If you don't have a calendar, you're dead in the water. And get one notebook that rules all your notebooks. I
Mm,
literally just did a podcast episode about this. So people with ADHD, we are whim chasers. We like want to wing it. Like we just want to, I'll remember to do that and all that stuff. And the a calendar and a notebook, things like structure feels like a prison. It
mm,
feels like, oh, I don't want to feel caged and like a prisoner to my day. But the thing that happens when you have structure, a little more structure, it actually gives you more unstructured time. When you're more intentional with your time, you free up more time and you eliminate stress. The stress of like, what should I be doing right now? What's the best use of my Here's another thing. This is just across the board. If you think you're going to achieve stuff by determining what to do in the moment, that is a recipe for not now. Like, oh, nothing important feels good in the moment. It's all crap. It all sucks. All the good things. But future us, the like me tomorrow, I can plan for me tomorrow because I don't care what he feels like. I can envision him feeling good. He has an hour from noon to 1. I see that in my calendar because I have a calendar. And so I see that tomorrow from noon to 1, I have time. Then I can look at my list that has my symbolized brain dump, which is a whole other thing, but I can scan. What do I have to do that's an hour long? What is maybe a daily standard of mine that I want to get done to be productive?
mm.
And then I schedule that thing. And then tomorrow, I've determined what I want to do
I
and
love
I
it.
throw my inner tantrum. I get all like, no, I don't want to do this. And I use whatever tools I at my disposal to put in the time. And
Mm,
I end up feeling better afterwards. But oh, this is a good point. This is an actual good point to make is that um, I had a psychologist come on the show one time and talk about addiction. And he was talking about choosing your suffering, which I thought was brilliant.
yes.
We all suffer. It's going to be suffering. But the beauty of life is that we can pick it. We
Yes.
can pick when. So I can either suffer now and do this god awful task and just live in the container of a timer or something to make it palatable, but I can suffer now so that I don't suffer later
Yeah.
because suffering later is usually the suffering of guilt, shame. I'm a loser because can't do stuff. I'm, in fitness world, it's like, oh, I'm not losing any of my weight or I'm not feeling healthier or whatever it would be, right? But you can pick it.
Yeah, that's one of my
So,
favorite quotes. I've literally had this conversation with a client. I say, choose your hard. So, like, it's like, okay, this is hard. This is hard. Which hard do you want to choose? And you're
oh,
absolutely right. Like, it's which hard is going to be hard. And often it's the hard of this is uncomfortable now, but future me is going to be so grateful and so thankful. Or there's the hard of,
yeah,
well, I get this dopamine hit now, and then future me is going to be in the same boat in a worse position, which is
yeah,
fantastic. So with what you were saying there about the calendar, which is
yeah,
really interesting, because it's one of those things that you said, it sounds so like basic and obvious. And it's one of those things for me that
yeah,
I kind of masked my ADHD with because I overcompensated because I was forgetting everything and feeling so overwhelmed. So I was like,
hmm,
right, I'm going to write everything down and put everything into these calendars and this, that, and the other. And obviously, everyone says, well, if you've got ADHD, you're disorganized. So that was one of the reasons why I was like, well, I don't have it because I'm so unorganized. So I've never
yeah.
had that struggle of putting things into calendars or structures because that was like a way of me
Oh.
masking. But for the people that you work with, what actually is the resistance? Like, why do people find it so hard or challenging to do what on the surface seems like a simple thing of just get a calendar, you know?
Well, there's no hard that I see that there's I'm getting by enough. I should just be able to remember this
Mm.
stuff because I'm a grown up.
Should,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
there's this idea that we think we should be able to do a thing
Mm,
even though we can't. And then there's also the complete opposition to having our time dictated to us. Like that oppositional nature of like, I don't want to be forced to do stuff.
yes.
It so it's that tends to be the pushback.
Yeah, the
But
shoulds is a big one.
really, Yeah, the gift that the best gift that we can give ourselves is like permission to forget. So what do we do so that we can forget? Like put it in a calendar, put a
Yes,
reminder in, have a
absolutely.
list of the things to do so that you don't have to remember them. And then that just, oh my God, the skill spaghetti space that frees up. It's like, oh my God,
Mm, mm,
the overwhelm that goes away.
yeah. And do you think a lot of these, like, because I see a lot of these, like, well, I should just be able to do that and I should just be able to do this. Do you think there's almost a sense of that almost feeling, not wanting, like if you've experienced that feeling of being broken for so long, it's almost like that pushback against it, like,
Mhm.
but this is something that I can do, and almost like that inner child, like rebellion, toddler tantrum kicking in, because what we see is
Yeah.
like as a standard is adults should be able to do this and we should be able to do that. And with ADHD, that
Mhm.
high achiever perfectionism, RSD kicking in, there's almost that rebellion because it's like I don't want to feel that I don't have to experience that almost feeling of being broken or different or in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And then that also leads to people giving up before something works.
Yes.
Like this, at the first sign of a thing not working, they throw the whole package out.
Yes.
And that this is why I speak from the mountaintops of about community. Join other people that are doing this work so that you can be and in a shame-free, judgment-free way, so that you can be vulnerable and say, I'm struggling with this. This is the aspect of this that I can't do. What do you guys do? I
Absolutely.
mean, this is the genius of being a part of a community, right? It's like the way that I phrase it is that, if you're in a room with 10 people and you're sharing a dumb idea, because that's how we feel about our ideas. That's as dumb. Nobody wants to hear it. It's obvious. Well, share it because your dumb idea might be somebody else's genius game changer.
Absolutely.
And so then if you're in a room of 10 people, you share a struggle. Now you get 10 dumb ideas to choose from. And one of those is probably a game changer.
I love
But
that.
it's like having the courage to be vulnerable, to be like, I'm struggling with this, having the courage to be like, here's what works for me. That's how we help each other.
Mm.
And it's not with memes.
No, it's
It's
absolutely no, it's not.
it's
Absolutely not. So whenever we start a business or we start something like a service to help with a certain problem, it's usually because the problem or the struggle has a negative consequence if not resolved, right? So for you and your
yeah.
experiences, if someone does not get a handle of being more productive, being more consistent, getting shit done with ADHD, what can be the negatives of that if someone doesn't get a handle of it? What are the big things, the big problems?
Uh, well, lose your job, get divorced, like all of them. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a thing about productivity, right? Where the people, I don't know, that toxic productivity that became a trendy word or something, where it's like you got to always be productive and stuff. I think that the other side of that coin is like toxic breaks, maybe like the
Mhm.
idea that like the more science that comes out, the more people become very eloquent at being able to talk about why they can't do things because ADHD and the dopamine is missing, and my neurotranslators and executive dysfunction participles are preventing me. And so that's why I didn't do the laundry. And I'm like, what? But do you want to fucking do the laundry? Then let's get in there, right? Shame free. What does it take to do the laundry? And I don't think that I'm going on a bird walk here. I'm
No,
forgetting
this
what
is
the
brilliant.
original thing is. I'm just super passionate about us staying on the even though. So even though all this stuff is a hurdle, and even though there's a reason to take a break, even though burnout is real and there's a reason to do all that stuff, when are you going to, now what? What happens after you take the break? Let's go.
Absolutely. And
It's,
that's really
you know what
interesting.
I mean? If we get,
It was
yeah,
interesting what you were saying there about like almost the more information and understanding we're getting of ADHD being obviously amazing for us for a validation, but like it's almost being a weapon of like it's that self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Of like if you believe that
yeah,
run's gonna make things hard for you, it is. It's like I say to clients, if they're gonna go for a run, if you tell yourself this run's gonna be awful, you're gonna be literally clock watching every second of it. If you tell yourself I'm gonna be starving on these calories, you are just gonna be focusing on every inch of hunger. And if you think, oh well, executive dysfunction means I can't make a decision, then when you're in these decision moments, you're like, well, that's it. I can't do it. So what you're saying there is absolutely freaking awesome because yes, it's harder. Yes, we've got real life challenges, but nothing's
Hmm.
impossible. Have you ever read the book The Expectation Effect before?
No,
I'm not a
tell me
book
all about
person,
it.
but it's fabulous. The whole premise of the book, the whole without spoiling it, and it's done in chapters of like different scenarios. The whole idea is about this idea of like placebo and how what we expect can dictate our reality. And there's such amazing
Mm.
examples in there of like actual, not just, you know, oh, I think positively and positive happens, but physiological changes of like hunger hormones changing and people healing from things they should never have healed of. And I always think if we can do this with our thinking, we can do the laundry. We can get out on that run. We can remember to eat a piece of fruit. And it is all down to beliefs. So I've got my ways of doing productivity and consistency, but you've mentioned a few times now, like some little tools and stuff. So I'd love to share some of
Hmm.
maybe your favorite ones or ones that you find most valuable, because I'm sure there'll be some that I've never heard of or thought to ever implement.
Sure. Yeah, there's I have a thing on my website so your listeners can go get it. It's free.
Cool.
It's like just go to the free resources section of
I'll link that
ADHDBigBrother.com.
in the
But
notes. Yeah.
the yeah, just a dumb acronym. Ready, set, go. And the set, this is how to get started on anything.
Hmm.
Um, it's a bold claim, but it's true. It can happen. The SET is the acronym, and S stands for specificity,
Okay.
E stands for easy point of entry, and T stands for timer.
Okay.
So there's a thing that you want to work on, right? I like to use like cleaning and organization type stuff because it's kind of universal. It's the thing that most of us hate to do. So you want to clean your house. That's vague.
Yes.
Specificity would be I'm going to clean the kitchen or I'm going to work on the kitchen, right? So that's a specific area. Easy point of entry is literally the first physical movement of that task. What is the first thing to do when cleaning the kitchen? Open the dishwasher? I don't know, like walk into the kitchen. It's what is the first thing that you do physically? And then the T is the timer. And when you timers, I'll say really quickly, I wholeheartedly I pray to the timer God. I believe in timers for ADHD. There, and I also believe in the gift, the reward of quitting. So when a timer goes off on something that's awful, you quit. You get to quit. You earned quitting. That is so anti the normie world. They're like, no, you got to go till it's done. Work harder. Go push yourself. I'm like, no, man, you let me. I did this kitchen for 10 minutes. I quit. Um, More often than not, we have the motivation to keep going, but we're in service of starting. So you set a timer for what is the smallest manageable amount of time that you could see yourself suffering in this hell of cleaning the kitchen, right? What is it? Say 10 minutes? Could be 5 minutes. We get over the remedial aspect of it. And then what you do is you set the timer for that amount, push start, and you do that physical activity. And that's it. You're just, all you have to do is that physical activity, and then you're done.
Amazing.
You do that physical activity, your body just keeps going.
Amazing.
9 times out of 10. One time out of 10, you'll be like, this is stupid. I hate it. And you quit. And then, okay, great. You did. You quit. But you got started and now you plan to do it again.
Amazing. I love it. Do you ever get any pushback
Mm-hmm.
on your methods? Now, I would like to assume, and obviously you can never assume that when
Mm-hmm.
someone comes and joins your container, they're in the mindset of, I'm joining this container because I want to,
Yeah.
I want to do stuff. Do you ever get any pushback on your methods, or are you quite grateful and
Oh my, no,
no?
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's super hard. A lot of people are, timers are a long game because it feels so remedial. It feels stupid. It feels like I don't need that or whatever. Like that's probably the one that I get the most pushback on. And conversely, it is also the one that people are like the most, oh my God, yes. Oh, it's so great. And I had the motivation to keep going. And so it is like, it is the yin and yang.
Yeah,
We really don't want to have to need timers.
absolutely. So how the hell do you deal with like, because we all have our own ways of like, this is where coaching comes in. This is the art of coaching, right? When
Mhm.
We'd love it if every just client and every member came to us, followed what we did, changed their life. That's not how it works, which is why I wanted to ask the question. So what are your strategies for
Yeah.
getting buy-in? Because like you were saying around these preconceptions of I should be able to do this, and when we especially, and I don't know if you notice it, usually more men, there is so much more pride of like, but no, I should be able to do it.
Yeah.
So how the hell do
Big
you get
time.
over that hurdle with people to get them to go, oh, actually, that's fantastic. That's amazing. That can really change things for me.
That's a really good question. So it's hard for me to speak directly to it across the board. My gift that I have that is, I believe I'm just really good at inspiring people. So it comes from a place of I really do believe in people.
Yeah.
So when I can find in their eyes and in how they talk where they are juiced up or where what like you, they'll say things like I really want to clean the kitchen or something. I really need to get organized. But then you'll hear the because when that happens, my spouse is gonna or like you'll hear the thing, and then you can just throw kindling on that fire. But it really, I struggle with buy-in because everybody's different. So it would be arrogant for me to say this is the Russ Jones way of managing ADHD and it is all encompassing and great. That's bullshit. It is I have what works for me. I gladly share it. But I'm more interested in what might work for you.
Mm,
And then I hold you accountable to trying. And I won't let you give up on it until you've actually tried it.
yeah.
Like I've until you've moved past. I want you to fail at it. I think that would be ideal for you to fail at it. Talk about what got in the way. Talk about the hurdle. Figure out how to get over that hurdle, and then try again until you've exhausted all the hurdles and it still doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, that informs something.
Yeah, I love that. And just a quick final point that came to my mind. So with like you were saying, everyone's different. Do you notice
Yeah.
any similarities or differences in obviously there's the different manifestations in males and females that we see like as a holistic kind of like with ADHD, but have you noticed anything in
Yeah.
your coaching practices of men more struggle with this, maybe females struggled with this more, just out of curiosity?
God, that's an interesting one. I don't like really treading in those waters, but I will anyway. No. the I kind of want to say in the initial aspect of the community, women are more community oriented,
Mm,
maybe. They're more group thinkers. But I have a fair bit of guys in our community. Um, they are vulnerable guys. So I think stereotypically in the world, men are less vulnerable. We are raised to be tough, right? Suck it up and just don't show your weakness and blah, blah, blah. Um, but I'm hopeful that that's changing. I'm seeing it change in our community. So,
definitely. No,
um,
definitely.
but as far as like the thing to work on, uh, not enough for me to want to talk about it. Not enough for me to be like that's across the board.
Yeah. No, and that's quite good to be fair. It's quite nice. The only reason I ask is with my the work I do, it is female based. So it was more just out of curiosity because I
Oh,
see patterns with like the consistency element with a lot of the women I work with, and a lot of it is very much linked in from my experience with emotion. So like feeling that
oh,
they should do things, they've tried diets, felt the shame, felt the guilt, lots of very emotionally driven reason that's driving inaction or inconsistency. And I wondered because there's a whole logic and emotional brain stronger in women, logic in men, all that good stuff. I wondered if there was any sort of,
mm,
but again, maybe that's where
yeah.
research and beyond.
I yeah. Oh man, and I'm so oppositional to that stuff anyways.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, you, I'm oppositional to sciencey stuff too. Like, they're like, well, 90% of the people are this way. And I'm like, well, what about the other 10%? What do we do? Just forget them?
yeah,
So like if we do that with gender and stuff too, right? Like, well, guys are typically, macho assholes. Well, but some of us are vulnerable and give a shit. Women are all emotional and blah blah blah. Yeah, but some of them are tough and hardcore. It's
agreed.
it's it's too pigeonholing, I think. And I just automatically devil's advocate that kind of stuff anyways, right? I'm
Mhm.
just automatically like, I bet there's a person that's not like that in the world.
100%.
So
And I guess you
it's
could also argue that
yeah.
line of argument is if we were very much like that, then that limit, that whole self-fulfilling prophecy could come in again, this, that, and the other. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that's been fantastic. That's been so
100%.
awesome. And I love the acronym as well. I think that's going to be amazing for people because it's so simplistic. Like if I'm being honest, when I was like, oh, I'm getting Russ to talk about productivity, I imagined, because when we think of productivity and when I think of productivity, what comes to my mind is like work and business and just all these like images of like lots of different things going on. But actually, what you've just done today is gone, but actually, it's just that. And I think so many people needed to hear that it actually, this whole idea of productivity isn't this massive book to read because there's so many self-help books on productivity and everything I've got all of them
Oh,
on my shelves. But actually, that simplicity of what you said is going to give so many people like a light bulb and that,
yeah.
oh, that's it.
You know, that's the I believe all the books are great. They work if you do the work, but nobody's doing the work.
Yeah,
We'll read the book and we'll be like, "Yeah, man, this is a game changer. I'm going to change everything. Atomic Habits. I'm going to do all the new habits." And then we're like, "But are you doing it? Are you doing the work? What are we doing to do the work?"
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
that's my light. That's
I
a
love it.
yeah.
I love it. And I did give you a bit of a heads up on this, but I do like to end the podcast on just a fun, light-hearted question that don't take too seriously.
I know.
And my question for you is, if ADHD was a three-course meal, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I read that was going to be one of the questions. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck ADHDer is making a three-course meal?
There you go.
So
That's your
in my
answer.
head, I was like, I was like, I'm gonna open my fridge to make this awesome meal. I'm gonna see that the lettuce went soggy. And so I'm like, well, shit, that's out. So then, but I see that there's strawberries that have mold on them, and I start to get mad at myself. So I get rid of those, and I see that behind the strawberries was some leftover chicken that I forgot to eat. So it's gone bad. And so now I'm so angry at myself that I'm going to get delivery. I'm going to get a Philly cheesesteak with French fries and a Coke delivered on a credit card because I don't have the cash for it right now. But fuck it. I just want to eat something nasty and tasty.
Perfect
That's my
answer.
ADHD with in all of its ADHD tax. That's my first
I
meal.
think that's a perfect answer. I think you've summed it up absolutely beautifully. Like the intention is
And
there,
then you're
but
gonna help me fix it.
yeah, that'll be our next chat. But amazing. So, Russ, I know you're not massive on like the Instagram and stuff. So, if people do
No.
connect, and yeah, I found this out the hard way. If people want to find you and connect, and maybe obviously find out about Key Community, if they've had a listen and gone, actually, that's kind of like what I need. Obviously, I'll put everything into the
Yep.
show notes. But where can people
Cool.
find you, and where's the best place to find you?
Yes, good call. And it's because I know myself. If I have Instagram on my phone, I get sucked into that doom scrolling. So I had to delete everything off my phone and stuff. So I'm not there. But if you go to ADHDBigBrother.com,
Yeah,
everything is there. The free resources, the link to learn more about the community, the link to learn more about one-on-one coaching if that's your speed. It's all there.
amazing, amazing. And I'll link
And
that below as
there's a
well.
contact form, and I love hearing from people.
Amazing.
So anybody can reach out and shoot the shit with me. I respond to everything.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you for your time because that has been fantastic. I will make sure everything's left. If guys, you found that helpful, you found that useful. As you can see, he's such an easy guy to connect with. So please do. And if that sounds like the missing piece to your puzzle, I know that community space will be amazing for you. So please reach out, see what he has to offer. But for all the listeners, thank you for listening once again, and I will see you on the
Yeah.
next episode.